I've learned a lot about Dem socialism from you, and thank you. But can you give an example of a large multi-ethnic melting pot nation like us where it does work? Thanks, man. Always learning here. Okay. Yeah, before I say, we'll talk about that. So, all right, we'll put it back in the holster. So here's what democratic socialism is. Democratic socialism is, and we are using it with certain things already, and have been for a long time, is public funds, tax dollars on the federal and local level, are spread out evenly. So, for instance, the fire departments, cops, street cleaning, libraries, all that stuff is technically democratically socialist because it takes public money and everybody gets trash pickup, everybody gets street cleaning, everybody, if you're in a cold area, everybody gets snowplow, everybody can use the library. Again, theoretically, anybody who calls the police and the fire department show up. Everybody gets that. The fire department doesn't come to your house and say, "Oh, you don't have firefighters insurance," which is what our healthcare system is not democratic. Our healthcare system is for profit. So there's the difference right there. So imagine if the fire department acted the way our healthcare did, and showed up and your house is on fire and you got your family out of there and you're on the street and you're like, "Oh God, but we got all these valuables in there." And the fire department said, "Do you have firefighting insurance?" "Oh, we can't put this fire out." And that your house burned to the ground. "But our daughter's in there." "Yeah, but we don't. Sorry." Or let's say they come in and they put the fire out and they save your family and they go, "Oh, here's a bill for $25,000. That's how our healthcare system works. If we ran a democratically socialist healthcare, it would run the same way our fire department does. Right? The same way our libraries and our parks are run. So that's what we're talking about. K through 12, we have public schools. Public money pays for those schools. You have the option of sending your kids to private school if you want to pay for that. And again, it's technically democratically socialist with the public schools, but in cities like Los Angeles, certain school districts, we've known them. This is one of the things we're talking about in terms of systemic racism with regards to the Black Lives Matter movement. It's become very obvious. They've done studies. Schools in predominantly black neighborhoods get less public money. That's not democratic. That's a form of systemic racism. So again, if that was democratically socialist, the wealthy neighborhoods, the poor, the working class neighborhoods would all have the same schools with the same quality of teachers and supplies and books and computer labs and sports things and libraries. They would all have that equally. That's democratic socialism. So we should have that on our K through 12 schools. And then if we gave everybody free public colleges and universities, that's again, everybody gets to go. Right now, you can't go to college unless you have the money. If you don't have the money, you have to take out massive student loans. That's not democratic. The wealthy have an advantage. The wealthy can pay to have their kids educated better, send their kids to better school. That's not democratic. And we can go on down the line with this. This is why I talk about Medicare for all, free college tuition. And when we talk about like defunding the police, again, we all get to use we all can call 911, but it's not really democratic the way the funds are given to the police departments. And then we don't have money for like homeless. And again, like I talked about the schools. I've said this before, we have a huge homeless problem in Los Angeles. But the cops, the LAPD, gets 54% of the total operating budget of the city of Los Angeles. They get $3.1 billion. That's not democratic. Yes, defund the police. People go, "Oh, you just want to get rid of the cops and give everybody squirt guns and flowers or whatever." No, defund the police means that we don't have armed officers dealing with homeless people. We spend money and we take some of that. And let's use this example. I've done this before. The $3.1 billion that LA gives to LAPD. We cut that money in half. Let's just go round numbers. So we take $1.5 billion And that is taken away from the LAPD. So they don't have all this money for riot gear and tear gas and rubber bullets. And that $1.5 million goes to do, let's say, the Housing First program that we talked about. It's been done in Finland and now Utah, where they give homeless people housing, not a cot in a shelter, an apartment, a studio or one-bedroom apartment, and getting them off the streets and getting them cleaned and taken care of and medical care. Then they're able to get job training. And in Finland, they found that had a horrible homeless problem. 4 out of 5 homeless people were put back into society. Working, tax-paying members of society. 80% success rate. That's huge. That's, again, a democratically socialist way of using public money. Rather than giving it all to the police department, we spread it out. We deal with the homeless. So the police don't have to deal with homeless. Police don't have to deal with, neighbors arguing over a fence. Police don't have to deal with traffic. We have traffic officers who aren't armed. They pull you over. They give you a citation. Go to traffic school because traffic laws are for all of our safety. You ran that red light. You were speeding. That's not safe for you. It's not safe for anybody else. And it's more educational. And yes, and then the 1.5 billion that the police department still gets, even that is reallocated in different ways. Better training, de-escalation tactics. The cops don't carry a gun on their hip. They have one in the car. So if there is an armed robbery, if there is a shootout or a hostage situation, they can respond to that. We have SWAT teams that can respond to serious crimes like that. We have investigators investigating, online sex trafficking, organized crime, right? But so that's a more democratically socialist distribution of public money, rather than the military-industrial complex and Wall Street getting all of this money. So the military-industrial complex gets all this money, and then we don't have money on a federal level. And again, some of that federal money could be given to schools, could be given to local governments, could be given to the states. We need a better infrastructure. We need to upgrade our whole electrical grid. That would be a democratically socialist use of those funds. Instead, the military-industrial complex gets all of it. That's why we outspend the next 10 countries combined. 10 countries combined. We could cut our military budget in half and still outspend the next 3 countries. We'd still be fine. So that would be a more democratically socialist distribution of that money. Look at the CARES Act. That was not democratic at all. $4.5 trillion. We gave $6 trillion in bailout money, $4 trillion of it. So 2/3 of the money went to Wall Street? No. That's a democratically socialist stimulus plan for this pandemic would have been everybody gets $3,000 a month UBI. We're suspending payments for rent and mortgages. Everybody gets free health care. That would have been a democratically socialist stimulus plan. Stay home, wear a mask. We're going to pay you. We're going to give you money to pay your bills. We're going to freeze your rents and mortgages. We're just freezing them. It's all good. The banks are going to have to just deal with it. Instead, they didn't. So that, I hope, helps clear up, in a very sort of broad stroke sense, what democratically socialist funding, how we already use it in certain areas in America, and what it would look like if we did it across the board. Still free market economy. You can still compete. Socialism, actual socialism, means workers own the means of production. So a worker-owned business and another worker-owned business can compete for your business, consumer's business, just like we do in free market capitalism. But it's more fair. It's more even. We don't have homeless. We don't have people crushed. We don't have people dying because they don't have health care. We don't have people living in tent cities. We don't have people living in their cars despite having a full-time job. That's what democratic socialist is. Thanks for watching the show. Shave your knuckles for justice.
Hey everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.